laughter rooted in the everyday life of the Cape Flats. Stand-up comedian Wayne McKay brings his comedy production AfriSnaaks to Masambe Theatre at the Baxter Theatre Centre from the 1st to the 4th of April. Performed in both English and Afrikaans, the show captures the humour, language and stories that shape community life, reflecting the way many South Africans naturally move between languages when telling their stories. Following several sold-out runs, AfriSnaaks returns with new material and fresh moments of laughter rooted in local experience. Joining us on the line is Wayne McKay. Wayne, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to The Upside. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Tebogo and Mmatsheko. I hope you guys are fantastic. You guys sound so refreshed and ready for the weekend.
Always. Is it a problem? Does it sound wrong, Wayne, when people are very excited on a Friday but not as excited on a Monday?
Yeah, it's not wrong. You can actually see it in the people's movements, in their behavior and how because they're super excited. It's like, when we were at school and we could actually feel, when we were at primary school or high school, we could feel it if we're in class too long, and we know at just after a certain time, the bell would ring and then we get that, we leave everything that we do and we run out and just get all their frustrations out. So I can see it in the adults these days. It's just in their voices, they even when they buy food, they upscale immediately. They go from Monday food and right up to those bougie foods because they look, it's weekend and they're just excited.
All of a sudden, the food in their fridge looks very boring. They want to eat out on a Friday. Wayne, just as you touch on the school matter, what was your favorite subject back in school?
I love geography. I loved history. Favorite subjects at school. The reason being is that, especially when it was geography, when learning about all these places around the world, never imagined that I would have the opportunity one day to travel. And everything just came aligned, looking, we're visiting spots like Australia, New Zealand, going to Dubai, the UK, and those type of spots. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is what I learned in high school. And I'm actually standing at spots in different parts of the world and enjoying it. So yes, history, of course, also very, very important. And I love history. I think that is just something that which always stays with us, will resonate with us. And especially when you teach the new young ones about what our history was about. And you can always reflect on notes and stuff from way back then.
That's so true. And also there's just so many ways to learn about South Africa, so many ways to learn about our heritage. Comedy, definitely one of them, and that's why we've got stand-up comedian Wayne McKay on the line so that we can celebrate AfriSnaaks. Okay, it's making its way back on the stage in the month of April. Let's take a quick break. We're back with Wayne after this.
6 decades strong, Channel Africa continues to inspire Africa and the world, proudly sharing
the African perspective.
The safety and well-being of learners is a shared social responsibility. Parents and guardians play a critical role in ensuring safe, reliable, and lawful scholar transport. Parents are therefore urged to take responsibility for the following. Parents should ensure that learners are on time and ready for collection to prevent unsafe driving practices such as rushing, unscheduled stops, or overloading. By working together, parents, operators, and authorities can protect learners and build a culture of safety on our roads. Issued by the National Department of Transport.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, only on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
We're 19 minutes into 1 p.m. Central African Time. Thank you for joining us. We're still in the first hour of the show, on the line with a legend who really is taking laughter onto a stage with AfriSnaaks, the show that's going to be hitting the stage at the Baxter Theatre in Cape Town come the 1st all the way to the 4th of April. Wayne, I really want us to tribute, before we talk about the show, tribute people like
Yeah.
Solly Philander, the late great, who recently
Oh,
just passed away. Just
yeah.
a legend when it comes to entertainment overall, and putting Cape
Yes.
Townians on the map through his comedy and his wonderful acting. Anything that you would like to say around, artists like that have paved the way for you to be able to come up with such creative ways to share the South African story?
Ah, man, Solly Philander, definitely, I can't speak too much about him because, even before I even decided to go into comedy or anything into the entertainment industry, Solly Philander, Mark Lottering, all these other incredible artists that
Right.
takes to the stage, were pioneers. I mean, just watching them being in movies and the way they curate, the way they perform inspired me immensely. And when I met Solly many, many years ago, I felt so starstruck when I met him, and I said, "Look, I've been a fan forever." And he said, "No, I follow your work as well." And we could have these amazing, amazing conversations, although short, but in brief. And with his passing, my heart just sank. But what was the most interesting part is the fact that I could go onto, that's why I love Facebook and social media, is to go through all my pictures that I've taken with him, and I remember all the conversations, going to see some of these productions when he actually performed at the Baxter, the last one I went to go watch in 2017, and he was an exceptional, talented, amazing person, poet, actor, comedian, you name it. And forever, I will keep that in my heart, in terms of what he reflected as an iconic person in South Africa and what he brought onto the stage, television,
Yeah.
theater, and etc. And I will take that forward as much as I can, that what I've learned and what I've seen from him.
Beautifully said, Wayne. You're going to be continuing the series of AfriSnaaks. You taking it
Yes.
back to the Baxter Theatre. What can the audience expect? Because you'll be touching on the everyday life of being in the Cape Flats, and oftentimes what we have seen about the Cape Flats isn't always something to laugh
Yeah.
about.
No, definitely. And sometimes the media gets it wrong because, in terms of AfriSnaaks, although it's English and it's in Afrikaans, it's just a reflection of, observation of South African life, our relationship, community, especially the characters that we have, the individuals that we have from the different communities that we come from within the Cape Flats, whether it's from Mitchell's Plain, Bonteheuwel, Hanover Park, etc. And that is what I portray on stage. And I mean, when I did it at the different other theaters the past few years, there's always people coming up and say, "Oh, my word, Wayne, you're reflecting, portraying people from way back then." And we recognize all these individuals that you speak of. So there is much more towards the Cape Flats. It's just another word that's being used. And when media would say, "Okay, there's been a shooting, there's been a killing, there's been all these type of, negative things," but there's a lot of positive that come out of our amazing community.
Absolutely. Very vibrant, the Cape Flats are, hey? And I think that speaks to the success of AfriSnaaks, I beg your pardon, that has had so many
No, that's fine.
sold out runs in previous editions. Talk to us about just some of the newer material, perhaps, that you are going to be introducing into this upcoming show for audiences perhaps that have seen AfriSnaaks in previous editions and are excited to come through for
Okay.
this one.
Lovely. The comedy is always a reflection of the time in life. So South Africa is constantly changing, and people are dealing with new challenges, new conversations, new realities. And in this version of the show, I touch on everyday issues that people are experiencing right now, but always humor and perspective. So the goal is for the audience to laugh, to recognize themselves in stories, and also leave with feeling a bit lighter. And then also, because initially when I started off the show, I didn't add any characters to the production. And now more towards the end, when I did the last one, because I've done it quite a number of times, I've added a character which is a auntie from a Muslim auntie from the Cape Flats. And these are all individuals, people that I relate to, and I've observed them over the years. And
Right.
I filter that into the production as well. So although new, I add new material to it because we're currently in the month of Ramadan, which is for Muslims that are fasting, and also in the month of Lent for Christians. That's also leading up to Easter. So it's always nice to be able to reflect on those particular, celebrations that these different religions and communities has, and put that on stage and connect the relevance to it. And people relate so quickly to that.
Wayne, how long, and I know it sounds a bit broad, the question, how long does it take to develop a character? Because no doubt you would have spent years observing, studying people, but then you now have to put it into a performance piece. You have to sort of mimic their movements, their speech, How long does that process take?
For me, it's just all the characters that I've seen over the years, and it's just basically taking. So, example, because I actually have to, when I speak about the character and I portray the character, I actually basically change my face in a way, even the speech. So I will go from speaking like English and go to an auntie that's just talking like he's from the Cape Flats, just talking about how the Muslim community. So I basically go into that character and I dress up as well, as this particular woman. And I speak about what we are going through. And I'm telling you, whether it's Christian, whether it's black, whether it's white individuals, I hate talking about color, but I'm talking about people that can relate to an auntie that they've seen. They'll tell me afterwards, Wayne, did you know my auntie Khadija? Or did you know my auntie? And question how long does it take? It is just something that like I said, that you observed over the years. But for me, it'll take me about less than a month to be able to develop the character and then put material to the character. Because, like I said earlier, when you guys asked the question, it evolves all the time. So I can add new material to it all the time, especially because people are fasting now, which is supposed to be also a spiritual thing. But I see the humor, the comedy in what Muslim people go through when they're busy fasting. So I speak about the things that they, what they do and how they are, and I bring the comedy in it. And when they relate and when they laugh and when I see their faces open up, they see, although it's a serious matter when they are busy fasting, I see the humorous part and they just love what they see.
Man, it sounds absolutely glorious. I think we really all should try and make our way to the Baxter Theatre to check this out, especially if you haven't seen it before. Before we talk ticketing and how we can get some people seats at the Baxter Theatre to check out the show, just your thoughts around the role of comedy. I think especially in these trying times that we find ourselves in the world, not just in South Africa, but just generally, what is the role of comedy in really bringing communities together?
Comedy has been used as in many ways to kind of diffuse a lot of things. And especially with the world currently now being at, I would say the world is at war. And it is something we can't even, say, no, we're not recognizing that. We are going through turbulent times as we speak. And if anything happens in a certain part of the world, it affects Africa, it affects the rest of the world as well. And yes, this is where we come in as comedians and we look at everything and we start creating. That is the creative part that I like so much because I could have like 7 different channels on what's happening on all these different channels around the world, view it and start creating material. And comedy it's so important to take away the tension where people feeling, look, we don't think we're going to survive this month, this year. And comedy became very important even during COVID. And I reflect on COVID also during my show. And I take people down that experience where death was around the corner every single day, every single week. And I talk about my experience going through COVID, being infected with COVID. But I bring the comedy in there. And, you like I said, it's an experience that you have to experience when you sit in that, in the audience and like, wow, I'll take you back to COVID. So comedy plays a very, very important role currently. within our community, within South Africa. And so it's just something that we should hold on to when things are not going well. We always I always try and see the good things out in things. So whether it's in comedy, the humorous side, I'll observe, and then we just create things. So I know when I work with all these different creatives, and we're in one room together, and some people just start saying something funny, I can see how it latches on, and people it becomes a fantastic circle to be in, and for us to share the gift that we were given with an audience coming out and making their way to the Baxter, sitting there and enjoying themselves. It's how, at the end of the day, it's how you make them feel for that short time, space in time. So it's very, very important.
Wayne, it's been a pleasure having you on the line. If we want tickets, we can just go to Web Tickets, correct? And just search AfriSnaaks.
Yes, AfriSnaaks is web tickets. AfriSnaaks, Wayne McKay. It's running from the 1st till the 4th of April, 2026, Masambe Theatre at the Baxter out in Rondebosch. And I can't wait to see the folks, South Africans coming through.
And we can't wait to see you. Wayne, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. The voice of Wayne McKay, AfriSnaaks, from the 1st to the 4th of April at the Baxter Theatre. Go get your tickets on Web Tickets. Let's get the latest sports. It's 31 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.